Hello, this is the Greedy Angel with another video of Math Problem Daily. I know I've been missing some days, but we're back on it. I'm gonna miss a couple of days. It's just what's gonna happen. Life happens. Today I'm gonna do ratios because my brother actually gave me a problem to do, and it had to do with ratios. And I think it was a really good problem, especially for this video series I'm doing. His problem was about shares of a company. He bought one share of a company, and his question was how much percentage of the company does he own? He gave me the information that 6,000 shares is going to be 20% of the company. If you have the 6,000 shares of the company, you have 20% of the company. And that's a ratio. Whenever you have a relationship between two measurements, we have shares and percentage of a company. That's a relationship between these two numbers, and that's a ratio. And you can also rewrite ratios in this way. You can write it in this way, but you can also write it as a fraction, which is what I'm going to do right now, because this will be way more useful to me than this way. Now, how many shares does he own? He owns only one share. And the question is, where's the percentage? And since I do not know that number, I am going to put a X. I can just cross multiply and then divide, because everyone knows that trick. You multiply across, divide by 6,000, that gives me X. But a lot of people don't know why that works. And so that's why I'm going to do the steps of why that works. So I have X in the denominator. So I'm going to multiply X to both sides. So that divides this out. And then I have to multiply X over here. Next, I want to isolate the X. So I'm going to multiply 20% to both sides to get the 20% out of the denominator. But I did it to one side, I must do it to the other side. So I'm also going to multiply 20% to the right side. And so there you see the multiplication occurring. And that's going to give me 20%. That's going to equal X times 6,000 shares. So now it comes the division part. Well, you can see that the opposite operation of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide by 6,000. And that's why it cancels out. And then now you can see why we have to divide the 6,000 with the shortcut that most math teachers will teach you. And now you end up with X equals 20% dividing by 6,000. I'm running out of space, so I will need a new paper. But 20% divided by 6,000 is a little difficult to do on a percentage. So I need to change that percentage into a decimal. So let's do that. So I have 20%. To change a percentage into a decimal is the same thing as dividing by 100. That is because percentage is out of 100. So I'm making it out of 100. If I'm dividing by 100, I'm making it out of 100. And so that is just moving the decimal 2 places to the left. That's the way most people know how to do, how to change it to a decimal. Not that they divide by 100, but that's what you're doing. You're dividing this number by 100. And that causes the decimal to move 2 places to the left. So, as a percentage, this is just 0.2. It could be 0.20. 0.20 is the same thing as 0.2. A lot of people don't see that connection. But just imagine you can put as many zeros behind this. It's still equal to 0.2. So 0.2, you're going to divide that by 6,000. 6,000 goes into 0.2. Well, we're going to be in the decimal place. It doesn't go into 2. Doesn't go into 20. Doesn't go into 200. Doesn't go into 2,000s. It does go into 20,000 3 times. That's going to give me 1,800. And when I subtract that, that's just going to give me 2,000 again. Drop down to 0. I'm back to 20,000. So this is going to just repeat. That's why I put the little line on top of the 3. That number is going to repeat. So that ends up being 0.00003. But that doesn't give me the percentage. I have to change it back to percentage. It's in a decimal. So to go back to a percentage, I'm going to multiply it by 100. So move the decimal 1, 2 places to the right. Is essentially what happens when you multiply by 100. And you end up with 0.003. And that 3 is going to continue, remember. So essentially what we saw was that one share, because remember this equal X, and X was in the bottom of one share. I was finding this ratio, this equivalent ratio to 6,000 shares over 20%. So that one share is going to give me 0.003% of a company, of this company that we're working on. That is all you get from that company if you buy one share. And I think he told me the share was a decent amount of money too. So I hope you liked my video for today. Always leave a comment of any math problems you have. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I hope you learned something today. See you in the next video.